It's me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Alright guys, don't forget on June 2nd, which is this Sunday, we're all coming together for our next live discussion. This is our third live discussion here at Ask an Aquarius, and it's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be talking about our book, Being Me, Loving You by Marshall Rosenberg. And we're going to be talking about specifically pages 6 to 10. So if you have the book, that is fabulous. Read up to page 10 and you'll be all ready to go. Likewise, on June 25th, I'm going to be in Orlando, Florida at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So you are invited if you want to go with me and have a butterbeer. Email me. My email will be underneath this video if you want to go. Okay? And lastly, if you would like to sign up to be one of my patrons on Patreon, I will leave underneath there the link to go to my Patreon page. All right? Okay. Now, today was one of those days. It was like, every time I tried to do a video, something else came up I had to do first. So I was like, I am doing my videos. It might be a little dark when I do them, but I'm doing my videos. And it's that kind of determination that I'm going to talk about today. What I call determination, some people call being stubborn. So a woman said to me, she's an Aquarius. She said, do you find Aquarius to be stubborn? And I said, yes, I do find Aquarius to be stubborn. And she said, me too. So why are Aquarius so stubborn and what can we do about it? So I was like, okay, interesting, because I've studied this before and I noticed something. Astrology has ways of grouping signs. They group all the earth signs. They group them, everybody by element. So they group all the earth signs. They group all the water signs. They group all the air signs. And they have another way of grouping. And this one is called fixed, mutable, or cardinal. You're either going to be in one of those categories. Now, Aquarius is in the fixed category. We're in the fixed category along with Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. So I looked to see what does it mean to be fixed. And they said that these are 4 of the characteristics that fixed signs share. So many of us as Aquarius are going to have these particular attributes. So I'm going to read them to you. The first one is, fixed signs are able to persevere through just about anything. A lot of us are like this. Not all, of course, but a lot of Aquarius I know can persevere through some of the most hellish situations. Number 2, they tend to be very stable, self-reliant, and dependable. Now, as an Aquarius, we're oftentimes, especially that self-reliant one drew me in. And dependable, depending on the situation. Because if an Aquarius makes a commitment to do something, generally, especially if it's a light Aquarius, we're going to make it happen to the best of our ability. Likewise, stable. All of the fixed signs like stability. So you wouldn't find a fixed sign sleeping, on people's couches, going from house to house, unless they're moving towards something. A fixed sign likes to be in a stable home, a stable environment. Even if they like to be spontaneous and go have fun, they still want something stable to come back to. Number 3, they can be very stubborn. This was the one. And unwilling to back down from an argument. So here you have it saying that fixed signs are stubborn. So why is Aquarius so stubborn? Aquarius is so stubborn because Aquarius is a fixed sign. So it just is what it is. It's in the very makeup underneath the attributes. Number 4, they know that often slow and steady wins the race. So an Aquarius and the other fixed signs know that sometimes you have to toil away at something before you get the reward. And I mean, I know this one for a fact. College, anyone? toiling away, and finally you get the reward. But many other times in my life, it's been like that. And I've been willing to do the work. I've been willing to do the work to get the education, not just formally, but even my spiritual education. I did 8 years of priestess training, you know? So Aquarius are often willing to put in the work to get the results that we want. So that's why we are so stubborn. It's right there in black and white. Now, what can we do about it? This is a $64,000 question, because I've never seen anybody talk about being stubborn and how to deal with being stubborn. You know, so I'm just going to tell you guys what I think, because I have no research on it. As a stubborn person, I'm going to say that you have to know thyself. You have to know yourself. You have to know when you're being stubborn. And you might not tell nobody else this information, but you need to be aware. And you need to be aware, is that stubborn energy positive or negative? Like when you're trying to persevere to make something happen, that stubborn energy is good, because you're not going to give up. You're going to make it happen. You're going to push until it pops off, whatever that is. You know, whatever you're trying to manifest or create, you're going to keep going until it happens. So in that case, being stubborn is good, because it means that you're going to focus on your goal and keep on going after it. That's the good part about being stubborn. But remember, there's also a bad part about being stubborn. So if you're self-aware enough to know the difference between the two when you're doing it, if you can catch yourself, because like, I catch myself when I'm not acting good. When my thoughts are erroneous, when I'm not behaving the way I should, I catch myself and I'm like, what? Goddess wouldn't like that. Wait a minute. You know, I catch myself. So you have to be self-aware enough to be like, whoa, you're being stubborn, and it's in a negative. It's not a perseverance. It's not that kind of thing. You're just being stubborn for stubborn's sake. You're just being bullheaded. You're not listening. You're not listening with an open heart and an open mind. You're closed at this moment. You're frozen. You know, I'll tell myself, like, what's going on here? And usually there's a reason. I'm usually in that stubborn place for a reason, and then I'll work my way through it. So if you're being stubborn just for the sake of being stubborn because somebody's getting on your nerves, for example, this is one time when sometimes I'll get my little attitudes. So if you're doing that, you know, somebody's getting on your nerves, you're feeling a little bit stubborn, it means you need to get out of the situation. Don't stand there and be stubborn. It's time to move on now. That's what your energy is telling you. So, like I said, you have to identify, is it a positive or is it a negative in that moment? Sometimes it's going to be positive, as I said before. Sometimes it's going to be your unwillingness to let it go, your unwillingness to cease, you know? And other times it's going to be something stupid, like, for instance, an argument. An argument is the last time to be stubborn. Seriously. I mean, unless you argue in a case in front of the Supreme Court, it's the last time in the world that it's worth it to be stubborn. So if you find yourself in an argument with your baby father, your husband, your boyfriend, your cousin, your sister, your wife, your baby mom, your mother, you know, if you find yourself in an argument with somebody, that's the time to be like, you know what? This is stupid. And I'm stubborn enough that I could fight this to the hilt, but this is not getting me or this person anywhere. So I'm going to back up off this argument. I'm going to agree to disagree and move on and think about and do something a lot more productive. You see? So sometimes being stubborn is positive, and then other times it's negative. So when it's negative, go with it. Make it happen. When it's negative, don't go with it. I said it backwards. When it's negative, don't go with it. Let it go. Move on. Drop it. Move into the next room. Leave it alone. When it's positive, let that energy help you manifest what it is that you're trying to go after. So if you're stubbornly trying to get your videos done before the end of the day, let that energy take you. you know? But if you're in a stupid argument with with the guy at the meat store because he stepped on your toe, let it go. So you have to be self-aware. You have to be able to say, hey, self, you're being stubborn, and then make a different choice. So I would say monitoring your thoughts for being stubborn, monitoring your thoughts for negativity, things like that is always good. But if you're particularly stubborn, monitor yourself for when you're stubborn. Monitor yourself. Really pay attention to your thoughts and your actions and your deeds. And when you catch yourself being stubborn in a negative moment, make a different choice. Make a choice to walk away. Make a choice to end the conversation. Make a choice to do something else. Make a choice to compromise. When you know that you're being stubborn and it's not getting you anywhere, or it's just for stubborn sake, make a different choice. Okay? Try that. Try it and see what happens. And let me know in the comments, if you're an Aquarius, are you stubborn too? And are you able to tell when you're being negatively stubborn versus positively? And are you able to recognize it and change it? Because that's what you would need to do. All right, guys, if you want to send me a love donation, my PayPal will be underneath this video. If you would like to send me a gift, my Amazon wish list will be underneath this video. And if you'd like to hit me up on social media, all that information will be under this video too. It's a lot of stuff under the video. Check out that area. See you later.